Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to the next trainer we have on the call today, Mr. Zach Babiarz. Zach is joining us in office. He is also a recent attendee of our 2021 annual convention. We'll let you kind of go through. You're doing okay pre-convention. Coming out of convention, where you is today, he has gone and sold 22 of his last 24 sits since convention. This past 7 days alone, he submitted almost $13,000. And Zach, how long you been with us?
About 5 weeks now.
About 5 weeks now. So, Mr. Zach Babiarz, happy to have you on here with us. I'd love you to give everyone a little backstory on you. Tell them, little how we landed here with you now having 13K weeks.
It's wild. It's been a fun ride. Well, my backstory in a nutshell, there's a lot of backstory, but I kind of hopped around from opportunity to opportunity, trying to find what makes sense for me. And I had a lot of boxes I wanted to check. I wanted something, number one, that's fulfilling, something like I'm growing at, something I can feel good about, like we're actually helping people. There's value there, right? I wanted something that pays well, pay the bills, give me that freedom. I wanted the money for freedom so I can travel, do the things I want to do. And I wanted something where it just all around makes sense for longevity, long-term, where I can actually plant my flag, have a lot of fun, and feel good about sharing this with other people that can benefit the same way I could. I can have that leadership position. I can train. I just had a lot of boxes I wanted to check. So I hopped around a lot, and some things were okay. I learned a little bit in some MLM businesses. I learned the mindset stuff, and then I did some other sales gigs, but nothing really just scratched that itch for me. It was just kind of like, it's cool, but I know there's something better out there. I know there's a better opportunity. And when I found this, I actually talked to you. How I heard about it was I saw that video. I saw the video of you and Sean Mike, and you guys were like opening up this office. I was like, whoa, wait, Grady's got an office now? Like, okay, I need to reach out. I need to see what's up. You like cut your tie and all. All right. I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. I reached out to you, and we had a good conversation. You spent some time chatting with me. I appreciate that. And then talked to my homeboy, Jamie. So I got to do a quick shout out to Jamie, because I wouldn't have had such a good week without Jamie. He's there every time I need a phone call. I need support. So shout out to Jamie. But you were there, and you guys broke it down for me. I'm like, all right, I'm in. And I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all or nothing. I'm not going to dabble or just like, I'll try it, put my toe in the water. No, I was all in right away. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So Zach and I knew each other in a previous life, previous businesses, and we both went our separate ways, and then came back. Now we came back together, and that's what's so cool about this. So like, as I was talking earlier, I was like, I don't have a great social media presence, but like sometimes if you just post things that have changed your life and how this is somewhat positive, it can create interest. And now Zach's doing great. And I feel like I have to talk about this. What did you do? What was your background? What did you used to do back in out of high school and college?
I delivered pizzas.
No, it was something more physical.
Oh, I did martial arts, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an MMA fighter. So if you're going into a home, and you need a ride along, bring Zach with you. So. But that's the thing too. Like we look at this and we go, the words he used, I was looking for something to go all in on. I've been dabbling around looking opportunities. He's a driven person. So this is a type of people you want to look for are people that work hard, that have a good attitude, that are driven and focused. And, this is nothing. FFL is just the vehicle here. I mean, you could have landed at another insurance agency and probably been successful. Let's be honest. Fortunately, you found FFL. Oh, yeah. but that's the thing, who you are. And so that's as we progress in life and you progress in each one of your businesses, is start to look for people who emulate the people you want to work with. I love working with Zach. Great attitude, works hard, cares about people. And that's what's so great about this. So let's transition. Let's look at this. So we'll do the same questions. Leads. What kind of leads are you working right now?
All instance. Haven't worked anything else. Instance and aged instance, 1 month, 3 month. But I try to get my hands on as many brand new instances as possible, but that's it.
That's it. And so have you ever worked a business with leads before?
I kind of did, but it was like, they would give you leads, but they weren't the best. And it didn't pay. The compensation was trash. And it was like, it wasn't fun. So,
what's it like working a business with leads?
I never worked a business where I buy my own leads. So that's really cool. Okay. So I can dictate how many leads are coming in. And if I want to go out and make some more money, I was like, okay, buy more leads. I know I can turn this $10 into at least 1,000. So cool. I'm going to do it. And, for me, it wasn't really that intimidating. I understand business. You got to make an investment if you want to grow a business. You're investing into it, and you continue to invest in it. And that, to me, it wasn't a big deal. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so it was all good, but previous business that you've been in, previous business that you and I have both been in.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, like
to be able to
yeah.
Just buy interest.
So you're not like friends and family, like,
dude,
please. Yeah. That was a big thing for me when you told me about this. I'm like, wait, I don't have to go to my Aunt Sally. I'm not going to my uncle. Like, and my mom, please just support me on this one. I know you supported me on the other 5, but this one's going to work. I swear. So I'm glad I don't have to do that. That was really nice. I don't have to make a ton of social media posts if I don't want to. If I want to make some money, I can just buy some leads, go to work. Correct.
I think that's one of the most tremendous things about what we have here is that, you think about any business, right? So you think about the fast food restaurant that's on the corner that spent $1 million to have that corner spot on a busy intersection, and how they run ads, and how a restaurant or any business has to put marketing out there, right? Well, the greatest thing about our insurance model is that all that marketing dollars is already optimized for us. We're buying optimized customers.
We're buying interest.
And that's what creates, that's what's creating wealth here for so many people, is that there's people out there, there's millions of people out there each and every day looking for life insurance. We just funnel them to us and our producers so that we get to protect and take care of them and earn the money for doing so, but also make sure they're in great products. So I love it, dude. I love it. So you're working most of the instance. Now the elephant in the room is that you've gone basically 22 for 24 since convention. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, Zach, pre-convention, what you learned, and then the things that you've applied that you're doing now.
Cool. So pre-convention, it was just kind of I was in learning mode. There's a lot I had to adapt to. There's a whole new business, this and that, and I was getting some sales, and I think the biggest thing is when I went off to Tucson, I'm like, all right, we got a lot of leads here. So that really helped my growth. And then after convention, you see so many people winning, so many average people. I'm no one special, a lot of people in here, they're just hard workers, they just want it, and they'll do whatever it takes. So you see all these people killing it in convention. There's all these top producers that are sharing everything they know, all their golden nuggets to help the newest person. And I just took notes. I was there all day, every day. I just took bits and pieces that made sense, that worked for me, that fits my style, put it all together. And I realized the biggest thing was just kind of think about it this way. You're going to spend a bunch of money on leads, right? You're going to drive to their house. You're going to spend the money on gas, that time, that energy. You're swerving through traffic, dodging bad drivers, things like that. You sit down and you're in their home. You're spending a good, 20, 30, 40 minutes in their home. And then they tell you, I'll think about it. And then you're just going to roll over and let them do that. No, you're going to go that little extra mile, that little extra push, and overcome that objection. They're just procrastinating. So convention, I learned overcome their BS detector. I had a BS detector. They're procrastinating. They need this. They need it. You just went all through their information. They need it. So give it the little nudge. I had a couple appointments where I realized I need to give them that little nudge. I tell them too, I'm going to give you some tough love here. Mark, looks like this and this is your situation. You actually really do need this. And you've been putting it off. And I don't let them just step all over me. I give them that little extra nudge because I know they need it, and I'm not going to walk out of there without submitting something. So
that's good. Yeah. So what are the things you learned at convention?
So that was the biggest thing.
Being able to be more. So
just be able to bulldoze through those objections that are just a smokescreen, and that was probably the biggest thing. I'm because there were some appointments where I was a little bit more soft, and I was nah, no, not anymore. We're getting something in place for these guys. They need it. And that was the biggest thing from convention for me. It was just belief level went up, and I realized people need this, and we need to help them get it. And it's my job to be, I kind of feel like their parents sometimes. I'm in there. I'm now John and Sally, I'm here's your situation. You need this. Let's do it. Whatever objection it is, I'm no, we got to get it submitted. We got to see if you qualify, So that was the biggest thing for convention.
So let's hear some of the things I love to hear your in-home, whether it's the open, how you start to show the numbers or the close. I'd love to hear, you kind of use some of the specific word tracks you've developed now
Yeah. So basically, you know, I just tell them I'm an MMA fighter, and if they don't sign up, it's not going to end well. And they really just can't say no. But no. So what I do, I'll kind of, do you want me to start from like the
yeah,
okay.
let's see. People right now are sitting there,
okay.
pen to paper going, I want to sell like Zach does. What are the things that he says that I'm not saying yet?
Well, first off, it's mindset, right? When you get to the door, it's like assuming like they're gonna submit something. There's no way they're not going to, right? It's that confidence going in, and then also there's no nervousness or anything like that, because I'm like, I'm gonna either learn something or I'm gonna get a deal here, and I look forward to the challenge walking in. Like it's gonna be a fun challenge. Something's new, something's different every appointment. So I have that mindset going in where I'm just confident, and that comes off in your body language. So you go to the door. I'm knocking. If they're not there, I'm calling, and we're going to sit down. We're going to do this. We're going to do it. And they let me in. I say shoes on, shoes off, mask on, mask off. You know, at this point, so I get in there, find a table right away. I'm leading. I'm like, oh, there's a table over there. You mind if we sit over there? I'm trying to find a table or something that resembles a table as much as possible. Sometimes it's just a bucket, you know, and you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes there's some cat pee on the floor, and you just step over it, and you know, you got to do what you got to do, depending on where you're going. So we get there, we get to the table, and then I started off. I have the lead card. It's a lot of what everyone's doing. I have the lead card. I put it in front of them. I'm like, tell me a little. Well, first of all, I'm like, is everything on here accurate? Let me, let's make sure.
Like that.
And then they're like, yeah, everything's accurate. I'm like, all right, awesome. Tell me a little bit more about why you filled this out. And then I just let them talk. And then I try to dig deep a little bit. Try to like, oh, I just want some quotes. I'm like, okay, quotes. Quotes for what? And they're like, well, insurance. I'm like, oh, life insurance? And they're like, yeah, okay. Oh, why do you need life insurance? And they're like, well, I need it because if something happens to me, I don't want my kids to pay for it. I'm like, okay, so you want to protect your kids, right? I'm like, yeah. So you don't want them to have to pay for something after you're gone. You want that all taken care of. I'm like, yeah. So I dig a little bit deeper. I try to find out like who they're trying to protect and understand their situation. I'm like, all right, cool. So once I get to that, then I introduce myself, like, who am I? I have my binder. I have all our carriers, and I look at the Family First Life logo. I point to it. I say, I work with Family First Life. It's a national brokerage. We have 12 different major carriers, and they're all A-rated. These are all A-rated carriers. And my job for you today is to shop around for you. Find something that, number one, makes sense for you, where it's not in legalese, it's not confusing. You fully understand it. You're clear when I leave the home of exactly what you're getting. Number two, something that fits your budget. It's not going to take food off the table. It's something that makes sense financially for you. And number three, something that you actually qualify for. Not everyone here can qualify for everything. So I want to find something that, based on your health and your age, you actually qualify for. And we'll find the right product, because these companies, they got a ton of different products. Not every product makes sense for every family, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I want to find the perfect one, customize a plan that makes sense for you, and something you're happy with, okay? And then after that, what we're going to do is look at a few options. If something makes sense, one of these options makes sense, we're going to submit a request for coverage today. I say that, I'm like, we're going to submit it. Like, that's what we're going to do regardless. And they're like, okay, cool. Sounds good. And then I'm like, in order to, this is important. I added this recently, is like, in order to submit a request for coverage, it does require either a credit union or a bank account. So just so you're aware up front, and so any of these companies, all these insurance companies, they need either a credit union or bank account in order to submit a request. So just so you know that. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's dig in here. I got 2-3 minutes of finance questions, 2-3 minutes of health questions. And then that way it'll give me a good picture of where you're at, what your situation is, and we can move forward and find a custom plan for you. Sound good? They're like, all right, cool. And then I dive in, go through the questions, get as much information as possible, ask a lot of questions, really truly show that you care, you're genuine, you want to find out what is going on in their family, what they actually need, what makes sense. And then from there, if you don't know anything of what direction to go with companies, just call your upline. Jamie's always there. He's been there every time to answer and help. And your upline's there. They want to see you do well in the home. So they'll tell you what to write. They'll tell you what product makes sense. And then from there, show them 3 options. And it's what everyone says, the 3 options.
How do you decide what 3 options to show?
So I
say final expense appointment, because a scene 50, 60 plus.
Yeah. So I look, it's really based off their budget, because I want something that's going to fit their budget and make sense. And So I actually ask them in the home, I'm like, well, I'm asking like how much income comes in on a monthly basis, how many sources of income, from, if there's two of them, I add them all up. And then I'm like, okay, let's say at the end of the month, how much would you say is left over of your income after your monthly expenses? So I just asked them straight up, and they tell me like, oh, like 300, 400, 500, 1,000. I'm like, cool. So we got a little bit of space to work with. And then from there, based on how much coverage they need and fitting it somewhere within that range that they have extra income, I just put together 3 options. I always try to show them a big option, and then, somewhere in the middle that makes sense, and then a lower option. But I'll show them the biggest one if I can, like if it makes sense for the budget, just because you never know. Maybe they have some savings or whatever.
It's not our job to decide how much they want to leave to the family.
Sometimes they're just like, hey, do you have any more? Like, that's it. Can we do more? I'm like, yeah, we could do more. Yeah, no problem. And then from there, you're going to get some objections. Never expect like it's going to be like a smooth ride. Like they're just like, all right, here's that. Like that's rare. Expect a little bit of resistance and embrace it. Look at it like a fun little challenge, and like, okay, how am I going to overcome this? All right, well, I've overcome this 50 times. This is easy. And you overcome that.
So give us 1 or 2 that you run into.
Pretty 1 or 2
that you now are like, oh, I got it. Like they go, and then you know what to say. To think about it, or do you read my bank account? Do you, I want to talk to my kid, right?
Okay, so let's do the bank account one. So they're like, oh no, I don't give out my bank account information. I'm like, yeah, I totally understand. I respect you for, being cautious. That makes sense. You want to be cautious. You want to make sure, that information is in the right hands. You don't want to just throw it out to anyone and everyone. But like I said before, I am a licensed agent with the state. Okay. And I don't actually need your bank account information. Me personally, I don't actually care. What matters is the insurance company needs your information. So I show them like the screen on the laptop, and where they have to enter it in. I'm like the insurance company needs it. And in order for me to submit the request for coverage, we got to get that information in there. So that's what, and then usually they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, and then if they have any other objections, I'll take my ID out, put it on the table again, show my license. And I'm like right there, it shows them like, I'm open. I'm an open book. I'm here to help. We just got to get this submitted. And the only way for us to submit it is with your license and it with your information. It won't charge you unless you're qualified. So let's get the banking. I just do the banking and routing, whatever it is, or accounting and routing. So yeah, that usually that gives them a little bit more peace of mind and will help them move forward with the banking info.
One thing you can add too is, now listen, Zach. So that America is going to spend like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 doing some background checks, underwriting their check, your background, your prescription history, your MIB report, all these things, and it costs them money. Now, it doesn't cost you any money if you don't want to take the policy. What we got to do is just let them know that your intent, like that you're interested in getting, they have some interest in moving forward, because without that interest at all, they're not going to spend all that money. And that, how do we show them intent? It's just, we give them their bank information. So it's not a big deal. Everybody does it. Yep. So with that, what was it again? And just think but that, right. I love your validation of who you are, license, et cetera. I'm not using, I could care less. Right. But it's the insurance company. This is why they need it, because just you're showing intent.
Mm-hmm. And it verifies your identity as well. It's like part of the verification process.
Now, what if you run across, I've got a group policy from work?
Yep. That one happened to me recently. And that one's, a little bit more challenging, but yeah, I get it. I'm like, all right, cool. I ask them about it. I'm like, that's great. You have a policy. And I'm like, okay, it's got X amount of dollars. Cool. That's awesome. And just so you know, I'm not sure if you're aware, I want to educate you a little bit on how these group policies work. So it is with your work. And what they do is they kind of group everyone together to give you a lower rate. And on top of that, it's kind of like it's a company car. You're just renting it. You just got it while you're at work, while you're still working for the company. But if something happened, if you got laid off or after you retire or whatever it may be, if you're not working for that company, you don't have that coverage anymore. You're not going to have access to that. So we want something you own, something that's in your name. It's private coverage. So you don't have to worry about any of that. So that's what we'll look at today.
That's good. I'm just going to save. I just want to save $100 a month. I'll just save it.
Mm-hmm.
That one?
Want to save it? Okay.
It's going to save the money.
So
why don't I just save it? I think I might just save it.
Then I'll look at their savings and be like, okay, you want to save it? That's cool. Well, I asked you earlier, I was looking and it looks like you're 71 years old. And you really haven't saved more than $800. So no offense, or like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but It doesn't look like you have that habit of saving. So what we want to do is have something that's strictly set aside for final expenses, something that will be there. It's guaranteed to be there, so your kids don't have to worry about it. You're not putting it on them when you pass, and something that if you don't come home next week, okay, you saved $100. But if you don't come home next week and you have insurance, your family gets $10,000. So this is giving you that peace of mind. You know you have that money there. It's going to be there to take care of your family.
Yeah. Good job. Most people put in a small bill to guarantee that money will be there for the family. And listen, John, most people aren't great savers. It's okay. You know, I'm not a great saver either. But so that's what most people do. Is they put away, they'll get a policy like this. Great job, dude. A little in-home clinic with Zach today. So, well, awesome, dude. Well, I'd love for you, any final tips to the new agents out there that have been bouncing around to different careers, have been bouncing around at, different opportunities, looking for something to sink their teeth into and really plant their flag and call home.
Okay. So this is the real deal. Like I've seen it all. I've seen all the lotions and potions and all these different companies and opportunities. And, some of them, you can make some money, but this is the real deal. I've looked around, I've looked at different business models, whatnot. This is one of the most exciting business models I've ever seen. This is there for the longevity. This is the place to plant your flag. So have confidence that FFL, it's a real deal and it's worth your time. So have confidence in it, have faith that it's worth working and building something here, something special here, right? And not only have faith in the FFL as a company and FFL as a system we have in place that's already proven to work, but number one, if you're brand new, you got to have faith in yourself because you're betting on yourself. You're buying leads and now you're trying to kind of transfer that into more income, right? So you got to bet on yourself, believe in yourself that you have the skills to do this. I don't care if you've never sold insurance. I never sold insurance. I know one thing about insurance, right? Car insurance is the only thing I have, I don't even, so like this is something anyone can do. You don't have to be special. You just got to work hard. That's it. You work hard, take notes, learn from these guys. We all want to help you. We all want to see people win. So that's my number one thing. Just have faith in yourself and you're going to get it done.
Are you going to build a team here?
I'm going to build a big old team here and I'm going to help a lot of people and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. So obviously anyone who wants to roll with me, I'm going to help you. I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people actually get results, overcome issues, problems, financial stuff, and just grow as a person. It's one of my passions. So I'm going to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun doing it. And I can't wait.
Love it, dude. Cool. All right. So drop an MMA in the comments below to cheer Zach on and tell him great jobs.